One of the best lines of watches on the market today is the Black Bay range by Tudor. But if that's a little over your price point, or you think the looks of the Black Bay are a bit boring, well, today we are going to look at two fantastic alternatives. Welcome back to the WatchGecko channel. I am Chris, and if you thought this is just another video on the Tudor Black Bay, give it a rest, Chris, well, then I have news for you. It ain't that. Now, the Tudor Black Bay range is one of the most successful and influential watch lines in modern history. It largely helped pave the way for the vintage reissue craze that we are still seeing today. But if the price point of a Tudor Black Bay at almost £4,000 is a little bit too rich for your blood, well, I happen to have two fantastic alternatives for you in the form of Squale, and Aquastar. Now, both brands have been around in one form or another since the 1950s. Both offer really unique and interesting takes on what it is to call yourself a modern day skin diver. And the Super Squale comes in at £1,095, whilst the Aquastar Model 60 comes in at a not too shabby, but slightly more expensive £1,190. So let's compare the two watches today and find out which one is the best. Now it's time for the parade of specs. So for those of you chomping at the bit to know all about these important figures, I'll start with the Squale. Squale? Squale. 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 It comes in at 38mm in case diameter, 45mm lug to lug, and a thickness of just 12mm. The lug width is slightly smaller than what you would consider standard today at 18mm. And you know what? It's properly in keeping with this model. This one comes in at 200 meters of water resistance, double domed sapphire crystal with AR coating, and a dial color that is a gray kind of color. But you can get it in matte black, matte blue, sunburst brown, and sunburst black. I think whichever color you get here is going to look pretty good. This watch also comes with an aluminium bezel insert or steel bezel insert dependent on the colorway you choose. Either way, you're going to get a 120 click unidirectional bezel that is rock solid. Finally, this watch is powered by the wonderful 4Hz movement, the Sellita SW200-1, the high-end Elaboré version. Next on the block, we have the Aquastar Model 60. It is slightly smaller here at 37mm in case diameter and slightly larger lug to lug of 47mm and a slightly smaller thickness of 11mm. The result is, well, a really similar wearing experience to the Squale. Squale, Squale, Squale. Now, just like the Squale, it has domed sapphire crystal with AR coating, 200 meters of water resistance, and dial colors that come in green, blue, and black, all sunburst. My pick of the bunch here would absolutely be the green. The other thing to mention on this model is that it has a 120 click bi-directional bezel instead of a unidirectional bezel. And honestly, I quite like it. Is it as satisfying to click as the Squale? No. Still feels nice all the same. Finally, in a deviation from the Squale here, this watch is powered by, and let me butcher it by the way, the La Perret G100 movement. Now, if we are looking at specs alone, it is a toughie here. I would personally go for the Aquastar though, as it has the better movement, but to be honest, it is a really even playing field. Okay. Let's move on to looks. Obviously, in terms of looks, I think both of these watches are punching for the skin diver end of the market. Both wear incredibly well on wrist, and both have a basis in designs from their back catalogue. Now, I would say that both dials are pretty well done here. I'm not really put off at all by the date at 3 o'clock on the Aquastar, and of course I like the no date watch as well on the Squale. I think both of them look pretty nice. However, I do think as an overall package of a tool watch, I actually prefer the Aquastar here. I would transfer the hands from the Squale maybe, put it on the dial of the Aquastar, as I'm not a massive fan of the cut-off hour hand that it has. But overall, I do prefer that one. But I think both are gorgeous looking watches, and the more I look at them, the more I think of the phrase 6 of one, half a dozen of the other. But I think so far as bracelets are concerned here, the Squale is definitely the winner. Part of it for me is the female end links. I also like the taper. It tapers better on the Squale, and the diver's extension is actually pretty good as well. The Aquastar does have a nice bracelet too. Now, don't get me wrong, male end links and a lack of diver's extension here makes this a little more basic than the Squale. You'll notice I say basic and not practical, as in my opinion, the on-the-fly adjustment is 100% more useful than a diver's extension. That is, unless you have a particularly deep bathtub, and unfortunately, neither of these have on-the-fly adjustment. Overall, I think you are getting a lot for your £1,000 here, regardless of which model you choose. Both brands have a genuine history in the skin diver realm. Both have made a good watch here. And finally, both have pretty good, actually scratch that, fantastic specifications. But if it were my money, I would probably stretch for the extra amount and get the Aquastar. I've been with both of these watches now for about a month, and I find myself reaching for the Aquastar more than I did for the Squale. I've been wearing the Aquastar on the free nylon strap that you get too, which in my opinion adds the extra value and changes up the watch. Also, there are plenty of suitable straps on the WatchGecko website if you are a serial strap swapper like myself. What's your favourite skin diver? And following up, what is the best alternative or a great alternative to bigger models like the Tudor Black Bay line? Let us know in the comments below. And if you like what you see here and you want to see the video I did on the Battle of the Black Bays, where we compared the 41, the 58 and the 54 models, well, click on the screen and give it a watch.